In Oracle Fusion, items are the common language across modules. Procurement, inventory, and finance all talk to each other through item attributes and definitions. By configuring the product management correctly, we ensure that this language is clear and consistent. If items are poorly defined, errors will cascade into purchasing, costing, and reporting. But when this is configured well, it creates a control across every function. Stay with me in this session to see how these setups helps the experts to fine-tune their practice as well as for beginners to grasp the basics. Oracle Fusion Product Management Setup. Let's talk about initiating and setting up product management in Oracle Fusion applications. It's about laying a foundation that supports the entire product lifecycle from idea to retirement. The first step is about roles. The application implementation consultant is the one who opts into the product management offerings and activates the setup tasks. The product manager oversees the product strategy and lifecycle, while the product data steward ensures the data accuracy and consistency. Access for these users is granted through Security Console. Now the setup process begins. We start by opting into offerings. This is like opening the door to product management functionalities. From there, we move into configuring the functional areas such as ideas and concepts, product development, item and catalog management, and even analytics for reporting. These areas support a specific stage of the product lifecycle. A special focus is on items because they are the backbone of product management. Here we define the lifecycle phases, status, item types, operational attributes, and item classes, all of which control how the item behaves across purchasing, inventory, and other applications. Units of measure and catalogs are also configured at this stage since they drive how the items are measured and classified. Finally, profile options influence how the system behaves. For example, whether an item image is displayed or how imports through FPDI and ADFDI are processed. By combining the right roles, structured setup tasks, and well-defined item definitions, businesses can unlock the full value of Oracle Fusion Product Management. Now let's see the interconnectedness of item classes, item statuses, lifecycle phases, and templates. When we set up and manage items in the product management, there are 4 key configurations that work hand in hand. These are item classes, item statuses, lifecycle phases, and templates. Let's begin with the item classes. They act as a central hub, and every item belongs to an item class, and that class defines its numbering, security, and approvals. For example, you might have RM for raw materials and FG for finished goods. And item classes houses the attributes that connect to the modules like purchasing, inventory, and manufacturing. In short, the item classes sets the foundation for how an item will be governed. Now paired with that foundation are item statuses, which directly controls what an item can do. An active status means the item can be purchased, it can be purchasable, stockable, or sellable, while an inactive status disables those functions. We can even create custom statuses such as on hold for sales, where customer onboarding is disabled but purchasing is still allowed. Complementing statuses are lifecycle phases. They provide visibility into where an item sits in its journey, from design to prototype to pre-production to production and eventually obsolete. Think of them as narrative timeline of an item's life. They are more used for clients having manufacturing business. Finally, we have the templates. This makes the item creation process fast. A template comes default values for certain attributes. For example, a purchased item or a finished good. When the template is applied, It auto-populates the values such as stockable, returnable, or taxable. The templates often work in tandem with item statuses, defaulting the item into right initial state at the time of item creation. When you look at the whole picture, the item class provides the structure and governance. Templates accelerates the creation process. Item statuses enforces operational control, and lifecycle phases provides a visibility into progression. Together, they create a cohesive system that ensures items are managed consistently throughout their life cycle. Now let's see the item attributes that are controlled at the master level or at the org level. At the master level, an item attribute value stays same across all the inventory organization, and they are perfect for global consistency, like unit of measure or cost related attributes that should never vary. At org level, the attributes can differ by organization, giving flexibility for regional needs. For example, making an item returnable in one country and not in another due to the local regulation. In short, the master level ensures standardization while org level allows localization. The choice depends on whether the business needs uniformity across the enterprise or tailored settings for specific organizations. Unit of measure or UOMs. These are the backbones of accurate product management, and they ensure that whether we are buying, storing, or selling an item, its quantities are consistently tracked. Every UOM belongs to an UOM class, such as quantity, weight, or volume, and within each class there is a base unit of measure, the smallest measurable unit, like each for quantity, gram for weight, or milliliter for volume. Now, to make the items usable across real-world business scenarios, the Oracle Fusion supports 3 types of UOM conversions. One is standard, interclass, and intraclass. First, standard conversions. These are not tied to any specific item. For example, 1 dozen is equal to 12 each, or 1 pound is equal to 454 grams. A company buying raw materials in kilograms but storing them in grams relies on these conversions to keep purchasing, inventory, and costing in sync automatically. Second is the intra-class conversion. These are item specific within the same class. Take a beverage company. The base unit in the quantity class is each, meaning a single bottle. But the bottle is often sold in cases. For that specific item, we define 1 case is equal to 24 each. So even when a sales order is placed in cases, the system still tracks the inventory in each. Third is the inter-class conversion, and these handle the conversion across different UOM classes and are also item specific. Imagine a cleaning concentrate produced in milliliters but sold in bottles. Here we define 1 bottle equals 500 ml. This means that if a production batch yields 500,000 ml, the system can instantly calculate that it translates to 1000 bottles. Now let's bring this together in a business case. Picture a company is producing and selling cleaning concentrate, and it procures the chemical ingredients in kilograms. So standard conversion ensures the inventory is always stored in grams. It bottles the concentrate into 500 ml bottles but also sells them in cartons of 6. Here, intra-class conversion handles the carton to bottle relationship. But because the production output is measured in milliliters, while sales are in bottles, inter-class conversion bridges the gap between volume and quantity. So the takeaway is a well-defined UOM system doesn't just make the transactions possible, but it ensures that finance, supply chain, manufacturing, and sales all speak the same language of quantity. Catalogs and categories are strategic tools that drive accurate expenditure tracking, accounting, and business intelligence. A catalog is a container and its categories are items like catalogs and categories are strategic tools that drive accurate expenditure tracking, accounting, and business intelligence. A catalog is a container and its categories, it categorizes the items like software, electronics, and stationery. This structured classification enables granular expenditure tracking, letting companies instantly answer questions like how much did we spend on software last quarter. From an accounting perspective, the categories can trigger different accounting rules, ensuring precise financial treatment aligned with the nature of goods and services. They also strengthen business intelligence when catalogs are assigned to modules such as purchasing or inventory. Organizations gain visibility into spend patterns, inventory levels, and stock movement by category. And importantly, item assignments is seamless. When an item is enabled for a function like purchasing or inventory, the system automatically applies the default category and catalog for that module. How does item class, catalog, and categories work together to create both structure and accessibility for items? Item classes form the foundation and they are hierarchical, with parents passing attributes and lifecycle rules to children. For example, a parent class might define electronics, while child class refines it into laptops or printers. Catalogs and categories provide flexible classification. A catalog is a collection of categories which can also be arranged hierarchically, and items can be assigned at different category levels, such as purchasing, inventory, or sales. Together, the item classes define what an item is and how it behaves, while catalogs and categories define how it is grouped. This dual hierarchy ensures strong governance at the backend and allowing the same item to exist consistently across multiple business contexts. In Oracle Fusion, item creation is at the heart of product management. Items can be created manually by a product data steward or uploaded in bulk through FBDI by a product manager. For a single item, you select the master organization, item class, and template, and then enter details like item number, description, status, and unit of measure. Attributes default from the templates and they can be overridden, and items can be assigned to inventory organizations. Categories and catalogs are automatically defaulted based on attributes like purchasable or inventory item. Beyond creation, items can have structures like bills of material, attachments like manuals or diagrams, relationships such as supplier mapping, and quality or audit history tracking. For managing existing items, users can apply mass updates, and for large volumes, the FBDI import process is the most efficient, and when items are obsolete, item deletion groups ensure controlled, auditable removal.